Good evening and welcome to Mental Health Matters After Hours with me, Dr Audrey Tang, and co-host Judith Crosier. Today we are going to look at self-care.
Lovely. Love that.
I'm laughing because I know we understand it and I know we know what we should be doing. And I know that you know what you should be doing, but are we actually doing it? And today we have got our resident experts and we've got clips from past shows where guest experts have given us their self-care and their top tips for healthy routines. So that's what we're going to focus on today. So Jude, let's get started. Do you have any self-care routines that you really do focus on practicing?
No.
No. We know. And we can do it for a week. And then it goes wrong.
Yes. I mean, in the last few weeks, I have started to go to the gym, which is obviously a self-care thing.
Yes.
But, you know, even with giving up some of my work, I still don't have enough time.
Yeah.
So I just imagine empty weeks, apart from obviously being here and doing the work I do for here. But that hasn't happened. So I'm not sure whether what's happened is I've just filled my spare time with other things as to not have spare time. But that's the opposite of self-care. So that's what, no, it is the short answer.
It's really interesting. I mean, I think in terms of putting in a routine, I struggle with that sometimes because my timetable is very fractured and sometimes, so this week and last week, I've had meetings with America, which means they're 8 hours behind us.
Yeah.
So I'm there at, 11 o'clock at night sometimes. Hi.
Yeah. So your sleep goes out the window.
And it knocks you out for the next day or the next morning. And so because of that, I find that quite difficult. But one thing I have got better at is saying no. And it's saying no to things and people and sometimes even opportunities if I really don't like them.
Okay.
And when that's relatively new to me, because when you start off as self-employed, I think you have to say yes to everything. But now, I've even surprised myself. I've turned down a couple of speaking opportunities abroad, even though I love travelling, because I've been travelling so much recently that I just haven't been able to do it. But I felt better because of it.
For saying no.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a relief, isn't it?
Yes.
Because the minute you say yes, then you're like, right, I've got to do this and I've got to get this passport and make sure that's there. And, so you've just cut all of that out.
So I guess I had to weigh it up with, well, what would be the benefits? And yes, of course, there's the dopamine hit and the excitement and the social media. But at the same time, it's exhausting. And I want to be fit for the things I've already got booked in. So
well, that's good.
Boundary setting is I think, quite difficult, actually, for self-care.
Yes.
Because it's like you say, things creep into your life. Now, I've actually brought our flip chart in. So I'm going to go and get it. Excuse me, walking in front of the cameras. I am going to do that. But I'm going to bring our flip chart in here, which if I put it up here, hopefully you'll still be able to see it. Just check with our producer. Yes, we can see it. Because I'm going to do a couple of little exercises in today's show because it's what I teach, but also I think it helps us.
Okay.
And the first one is the Eisenhower matrix, which other guests have talked about, and it's about how to free up some of that time. So we're going to do this on you.
Brilliant.
Okay,
I obviously need this.
Can you think of the things that you've got on that to-do list which are urgent and important? So things that you have to do and you have to do it. Can you give me one example of that particular thing?
Oh gosh.
So it'll be maybe an appointment you have to make because it's got to be you that does it, or a letter that you have to write, but it's got to be you that does it.
Yeah, there is a complaint that I am dealing with at the moment. Where I have to get quite a sizable refund from an organisation.
So you have
to do that. Yes,
Perfect.
I do.
What about something that's urgent but it's not important? You do it. So, for example, I know you have dogs. So walking the dogs might be an example. It has to be done, but does it have to be you?
Okay, so making a routine vet appointment.
Perfect. So
for their 6 monthly checkup.
Make an appointment. Yep. What about something that is it's not urgent, but you have to do it. So it might be seeing a friend or seeing some, you can't send someone to your place.
No. So not urgent.
But important.
Important. Okay, so I need to schedule time in with my mum when we're back from holiday. Yeah. Because my sister will be away and my mum will have essentially been on her own for that whole time. So I'm back for my sister, which means I need to go see my mum. Important, but it's not urgent. Yeah.
Yes. And what about anything that you are finding yourself doing which is not urgent, not important, and really you shouldn't be doing it, like doom scrolling or something like that?
I don't tend to do that. What I'm doing is, and you're going to tell me off, is because my husband is in the same type of work that I have just left. And I left for a reason, but I'm helping my husband elements of his job.
Helping other people's dramas.
Yeah, and actually work as well, but yes. It comes with drama.
Right. This is one thing that you can do, first of all, is put all of your to-do list into those quadrants.
Right.
Urgent and important that has to be done. Urgent but not important that you do it. Not urgent but important, it's you. And then finally not urgent and not important. So that's the first thing, is just divide it all up.
Right, okay.
But then this is what you need to do with it. If it's urgent and important, you do it. Do it first. The end. Do it. Get that done.
Okay.
If it's urgent but not important, then you can delegate it. Which means that your husband could make the appointment instead.
Yes,
or,
absolutely.
Somebody else could make that appointment for you.
Do that, yeah.
Seeing your mum, yes, you have to do it. Delay it. Put it at a time you know that you can actually make that time to see her when it's comfortable. And then helping other people's psychodramas, delete it. Just get rid of it.
Okay.
That's the hardest. Don't do it. Stop it. Because what's happening is you're going to spend more time in here than in here.
Yeah.
And then nothing gets done. And here, the stuff that's delayed suddenly becomes urgent. And then urgent and important. So that's the Eisenhower matrix, and that's the first thing when it comes to self-care. And we're now going to go over to our resident expert, Jono Poon, who's going to give us his top tips for self-care.
Asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a strength, and it definitely doesn't make you any weak or any less than what you are. It's something to remember, and it's something to keep in mind. Make sure to find a mate, talk to a friend or a therapist or a support group, and ask for help. Move your body regularly. Exercise isn't just for gains, but it's for therapy as well. Walking, dancing, exercising in general, 30 to 40 minutes a day, 3 to 5 times a week, definitely helps with building your mental health. Sleep is a game changer because 7 to 8 hours a day is good for you, but also less sleep fuels your anxiety and also poor decision making as well. So sleep is an underrated game that you need to start sorting out if you haven't already. Cut out numbing solutions. Things like gaming, too much booze, partying, things that you're just avoiding dealing with the problems is generally a sign for help. So reach out.
Now those top tips that Jono gave us, they seem simple. Things like, reach out and ask for help.
Yeah.
But we struggle.
It's a really difficult thing to do, especially for some people who maybe have been brought up to be independent, to be self-sufficient.
And that's seen as praiseworthy.
Exactly, and it's seen as a weakness maybe to deviate from that. It is hard. And it's really hard if the help is for an emotional thing and not a practical thing. That's probably even harder.
Because that could be time you feel like you're imposing on other people as well, and you don't know how they're going to receive it.
It could be embarrassing for some people to ask for help.
Yeah, and I think it can be really difficult as well. What about the other thing? Get some sleep. Seems simple, doesn't always happen. And it's not always our well, no, it is going to be. When I take the story back, it's going to be my fault. But I can be in bed. I can be in bed by 9:30, you know, and then I'll be on my phone. I'll be watching telly.
My turn to tell you off, actually. That's really, really naughty.
It is. It is. And because I use my phone as my alarm, my phone is next to me, and it's so easy to get into the wrong habit. So all of these things, it's great to say, but we can struggle getting them done.
Yeah, I mean, we know not to look at our phone for 2 hours before bed. And we know, ideally, not to... I never, ever, ever bring my phone into my bedroom because it's too tempting.
Yeah.
Because the amount of times I've thought, right, I've seen that message, I'll quickly read it. And then an hour and a half later, I haven't just looked at the message and put it down, of course.
Yeah.
Or I just check Facebook. I'll just send me a message. So... yeah, but we know this, but it's difficult to put it into practice or to actually follow our own advice.
Because we've been engaging in those habits for such a long time. So I guess the thing is, how do we change some of those habits? Well, one of our past guests, if you remember Michael Davis, Cognitive Diversity at Work, who is on our morning show, he talked to us about practicing certain behaviours which will actually help make those changes. But the first thing is we have to think that we want to change.
Exactly.
And I know it's that awful joke, isn't it? It's how many psychologists does it help? Do you need to help change a light bulb? Well, you know, one, but the light bulb has to want to change. And you're just like, oh, it's awful. It's like Schrödinger, that name rings a bell. See, this is what happens at conferences.
It's a psychologist humour.
Oh, it's not good. Anyway. Why do you think we're so resistant to change?
I think because we like being in our comfort zone, and doing something different can be uncomfortable.
So I think now is a good time to go over to Michael Davis and talk about his approach, where he doesn't call it change, he talks about growth instead.
People live their lives in a comfort zone. As they go through life, they develop habits which they like. And you only keep doing a habit if you're rewarded by it.
Yes, that's true.
If you're not rewarded by it, then you'll discard it and you'll find another habit. What we say to them is, okay, what are you unhappy with? What outcome are you dissatisfied with? What outcome do you want to change? And then you challenge them by saying, do you want that? Do you want that? Do you really want that? Are you willing to put the hard work in to change, to have that different outcome? And if they say yes, then we know they're self-motivated. And we then trade on that willingness to change by showing them exercises using whole brain thinking, using cognitive diversity to change their thinking and their behavior. In cognitive diversity, I would prefer to use the word grow.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Because if we just go back to the scale between 0 and 100, what we're talking about is growing a strength of thinking.
Yes.
So we need to find exercises which will grow that thinking preference. Now, I recall attending a conference, a project management conference, years ago. And during lunch, a young woman came up to me and she introduced herself. She was very attractive. And I thought, what is going on? Why is this young woman coming to me, introducing herself and being friendly? And I'm a married man, 2 adult children, and I'm thinking, what's happening? So I asked her, what's happening? What's going on here?
Brilliant.
And she said, My manager says that I need to grow my relational thinking. And when the opportunity arises, I should simply go up to somebody and introduce myself and start a conversation.
I love that.
Welcome back. So thank you very much, Michael, for it's again changing one word. Instead of seeing it as change, we're growing, we're developing.
Exactly. I think the distinction is with change you leave something behind.
Yep.
And with growing you don't. You just kind of develop where you've come from. And in my mind, that's a massive shift in the way of thinking.
Yeah, we sort of evolve and flourish with it.
Yeah.
Which is much, I guess it's much more positive.
Yeah, exactly.
Or it feels much more positive.
Yes, it does.
So another thing our guests have talked about on this show is healthy routines. Now, you started saying before we went over to Michael about the routine that you have, you don't bring your phone in.
Yeah.
Do you have a sort of a wind down routine?
Yes. It's probably very normal for most people. Excuse me. So, yeah, dinner quite early, TV, catch up with my husband if I haven't done already in the day, and sort of check my phone early evening just to make sure that I've done all, house admin and things. And then just leave my phone alone, just watch a bit more TV. Then I always read before I go to sleep, always,
nice.
Because it just empties my head of the daily stuff, and then go to bed.
And I think what's really nice about you saying reading, we're not talking about Kindle here, are we? We're talking about an actual physical book, which makes such a difference.
I don't own a Kindle.
And again, it's getting away from the blue light.
Exactly right.
Our guest, Jono, also talks about a healthy routine. What we're going to do is we're going to listen to his morning routine, and then we're going to listen to Bianca Chappell, who is the founder of Mumpreneurs. Yes. She gives her routines as well. And then we're going to come back and reflect on some routines that we can build into our lives. So let's head over to Jono.
My daily practices is to start the day with cold bath, cold showers, and also 5 to 10 minutes stretching and breath work, because that just sets the calm tone for the start of my day. Looking after your nutrition. So getting plenty of cooked foods such as proteins, omega-3s, and plenty of water helps with just looking after your body in general, making sure you're having the right fuel in your body, but also knowing that caffeine and crisps and snacks isn't going to get you through the day enough.
Hi, I'm Bianca Chappell, and I'm going to share with you a few tips on how to develop a morning routine that serves you for a really bright and fulfilled day, and also a night routine of how to wind down from the day and enjoy sleep. So the days are really, really busy. We all know that we have a lot on, and very, very rarely do we take time to actually calculate what is included in our day, what we need to do to be able to navigate it with success. So my top tip would be to set yourself a morning routine. Morning routines do not have to be anything ambiguous. They can be very small, but just steps that takes time for you to just take stock of your day in the morning. I quite like to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and enjoy the morning club, where it's just me and my calendar, looking at what's involved in my day and really scheduling what needs to be done, where it needs to be done, and how I want it to be done. This doesn't have to be a huge proportion of time. This could be 5 minutes, this can be 15 minutes, this can be half an hour. You set the tone for your day because it's your day, but never underestimate the power of just being organised. So once you've done that, you're able to navigate your day with success, knowing what needs to be done, all in order. And of course, sometimes things don't go according to plan, but because you've got a structure, you've got something to face back and look back on and turn around and make it work the way it needs to. Then let's move into the evening, nighttime routine. Nighttime is something that should absolutely be there as a chance to reset. The evening should be a chance where we can just take time to restock, regroup, rebalance from the day in the hope to enjoy a good sleep where the mind can just switch off and we can just start again anew. I'm sure you might have heard things about an evening routine, and that can include anything from taking a bath, that can do anything from having a moment of solace and a moment of gratitude. Something that I really like to do of an evening is just have time to recalibrate, just 10 minutes, somewhere between coming from downstairs and going into bed, and just taking time to just come down from the day. That might be reading a book, that might be meditating, that might be doing some yoga or something that's like a mindful practice. But that little space in between switching off from the day and actually enjoying that time to get into your bed and enjoy a restful slumber is absolutely life-changing, because it gives your mind a chance to just exhale. It gives a chance for the body to relax, and it tells the brain that it's sleep time now, and hopefully you'll be able to enjoy a lovely sleep.
Well, thank you, Jono, and thank you, Bianca. I know you, one of your other jobs is to look after dogs. And do you do cats as well?
Yes, two of our clients have cats, yes.
But dogs are really comfortable in routine, aren't they? They feel safer in routine. I think humans do as well.
Yeah, we do. It's funny because for the first part of my career, the first half, I suppose, it was very structured, very samey every day. And I thought that was boring, and I thought I didn't want that. And I kind of I was really striving to kind of get out of that and do something which didn't have so much routine and structure. And when I did that, I think I really struggled. And I think actually, although I wanted every day to be different, and I don't know what's going to come up next, and that's what I wanted, but I think I needed the structure. And I think you're right. I think it's just an inherent safety that we get from the structure, exactly like dogs.
It's like just knowing that this is going to happen after this, and it just makes you more comfortable. I think there's less anxiety, but that doesn't mean we have to pigeonhole ourselves very specifically into every day has to look like this, because we know that doesn't happen. And one of the things I always get asked as a coach is a lot of people want to build gratitude into their routine.
Okay.
But they think they have to write gratitude journals, and our guests have given these fabulous tips, write down 10 things you're grateful for. Don't stop there, write down 15. People haven't got time to do that, and it can actually feel really overwhelming to think, oh no, now I've got to write 10, 15 things.
I don't think anyone can do that every day. You might think in a day of one thing or two things or people that you're grateful for.
So we're going to do now a very simple gratitude routine that you can add into your day if you want to, and if you don't have time to do a full-length journal, that's nothing to stop you. If you do want to do a journal, please do. But this is the gratitude stretch. This is really good for posture, so you can do this in the middle of the day. If you've been hunched over a computer, it's going to be really useful. So what you're going to do is just simply you're going to stretch your arms out. Very simple. Just stretch your arms out, stretch across your shoulders, and think of one person you're grateful for in your life. I'm allowing animals as well. So think of one person you're grateful for in your life. And then stretch your legs out. And think of one thing you're grateful for in your life. So, that might be your house, it might be your job, it might be your whatever, one thing. And then shake yourself out. And as you do that, think of one thing you're looking forward to doing today, or if it's at the end of the day, one thing you really enjoyed today. That's it. That's your gratitude practice. But you do that regularly, and what you'll actually find is your brain will just be primed to think of the things that are positive and that you're grateful for.
Okay.
But there is another secret to that particular practice. So before I give you the secret, do you mind sharing what came up in your practice? So the person or animal.
Well, actually, it was my dog, Ben. Yeah. Probably no surprise.
Nothing wrong with that. So that's the person or the animal or the figure that you have. The thing that you were grateful for.
The thing was my freedom to be able to not work as I choose. I'm really grateful to have that freedom at the moment to be able to do what I want.
Beautiful. And the thing you're looking forward to?
Is getting home, seeing my niece and having some dinner.
Oh, perfect. That's lovely. Now, if you practice that gratitude stretch every day, and that took, 15 seconds? It really didn't take long at all, so you don't need to go through writing things down. You will notice the same people and the same things will come up. So it's likely that if you did this tomorrow, think of a person, it might be your niece. It's just likely. I'm not saying it might be Ben again, and that's totally okay. But what you will notice is some things and some people come up all the time.
Okay.
Some things and some people do not.
Even more interesting.
That's the bit where we then learn to set boundaries. So as I talked about boundary setting before, I'm generally asked, how do I get rid of toxic friends? Because no one in the UK wants to go, I don't like you anymore. We don't have those conversations.
No.
So what do? Well, practice this gratitude stretch for about a week, and you're going to find out, who is it you really look forward to seeing, who are the people that you're really grateful for, what are the things you like doing, what are the things you're grateful for, and what you enjoy in general. And the secret there is to do more of them. Just do more. Actively do more of them. Actively choose to book in time with those people, with those things, with those situations, because then when that toxic person or that energy vampire or that whatever it is comes along and says, could I just borrow you? You can say, well, actually, I've checked my diary. I'm already busy. You don't need to lie either.
Yeah, no.
And we hate we get all flustered because if you're a people pleaser, you kind of go, I feel like I can say yes. If you've booked yourself out already with all the things that bring you joy, you don't actually need to spend time with that person who doesn't.
Very good thinking.
Just a little routine that you can add in. So we're now going to go back to Jono again, and he's going to talk to us about the hardest lesson he had to learn.
Recently, I was asked what was my hardest lesson that I learned in life. And my hardest lesson that I learned in life was asking for help. As someone who grew up as the only child, and means I had to try and learn to do things a lot by myself, I played a lot of my role in my life being the alpha wolf or the lone wolf as such, and I never really asked for help, so I had to try and figure out how to do things a lot by myself. I didn't really have brothers or sisters or cousins and people to ask for assistance. So growing up, being bullied and all those, I never again really asked for help and support, and I tried to just go for it alone and just deal with it. But what that made me do as I got older is I stopped asking for help. I stopped asking for support, and I tried to bottle up and do everything myself. What that led to was burnout, depression, isolation, suicidal thoughts, and going to very dark areas in my life. So asking for help was one of the hardest lessons that I've learned in my life. And don't let that be you too. Reaching out for help isn't weakness, it's a sign of strength. And life is a one-player game, but it's up to you how you play it. And it is one that you can play with everyone else. And you're not alone on this journey.
Thank you, Jono. Now, I said as soon as I heard him give that hardest lesson that this would be something I'd want to ask subsequent guests on the show, because I think that says a lot about our learning process and our awareness of who we are, which is probably what we're going to go on to talking about next when it comes to self-care. But Jude, what about you? Hardest lesson, something that you've had to learn? There may be more than one.
I think there's been more than one along the way, but one that really stands out was, again, along the lines of not wanting to ask for help. This was quite a long time ago, actually, and I was sharing a house with friends, so my family weren't nearby, and I got into a bit of a pickle, but I refused to talk about it or let anyone know or ask for help, my parents would have been the obvious people for me to have gone to, and I didn't. So I kind of tried to deal with it myself, and I just got myself deeper and deeper and deeper into this pickle. And then in the end, it was like quite a big mess to sort out. And so my parents were kind of at the end of it going, well, why didn't you come to us to ask for help? And I was thinking, but you're the ones that made me, it's not their fault at all, but you're the ones that made me, you know, very self-sufficient and, you know, independent. So but then I learned that I should, and I have since, so that was good.
Now, mine is a lesson that I learned probably a long time ago, but I've only just begun to put, I've only realised there's an academic theory around it.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you a little bit of the academic background and then explain sort of how that all fits in. This is about attachments and my behaviour in relationships, whether they're friendships or not. Now, a lot of people think I'm quite blunt and I'm quite straightforward. I never used to be.
Okay.
I never used to be. I'd always try and push around the subject. I'd test. I'd manipulate, not actually just go, yeah, where do we stand here? You know, where is this? You do things like, I don't know, if a boyfriend was going out, without me.
Yeah.
Oh, where are you going? Oh, is anyone I know going there?
Right,
you know,
okay.
Instead of asking,
you wanted to say, is she going?
Is she going?
Yeah,
exactly. So it's that roundabout that way. Okay. Now, attachment research says that we generally form secure attachments or anxious attachments or avoidant attachments, depending on our upbringing. So if a parent was always emotionally available, you're likely to become quite secure because you know if they go out, they're coming back. If you ask for help, they're going to be there, and so on. If a parent is not necessarily neglectful, but just isn't around or is telling you always be quite self-sufficient, you're more likely to be avoidant. I don't need to, I don't want to do this. But if you've had a bit of a chaotic upbringing where you kind of don't know whether someone's going to be available to you or not, or what mood they're going to be in, you grow up being quite anxious. So I know I fall within the anxious side of things. But without just being direct with what I want, what anxious people do is they engage in something called protest behaviours. I did not know it had a word. Protest behaviours are things like manipulation. So, for example, you know, we're in a relationship, you want to go out, oh, I've got a headache, it's really awful, you can't leave me.
Right, okay.
Yeah. And if you happen to be an avoidant personality, that's the worst thing for the anxious person to do. So what you will engage in is known as deactivating behaviours.
Right.
So as soon as the anxious person starts protesting, the avoidant person goes, not having that, look after yourself. And that leads to all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
The way to deal with it is to just come out and ask about it.
Just be
straightforward and be honest. And I do remember the very first time, this is with my now husband, I do remember at the start of our relationship, I remember just sitting there and going, right, where are we? What is this? Because I need to know, and I think you need to, and I would never have had that conversation before.
That's really interesting.
And I've had a starter husband, and this kind of explains why I had a starter husband.
Yeah. So that's really interesting that you kind of almost sounds like you made a conscious decision to be less like you'd been before.
Yeah. And recognise that actually a lot of the protest behaviours were not necessarily my ex-husband's fault,
no,
who happened to be very avoidant. So you're drawn into that. But I made it his problem. There were faults on his side as well. I'm not letting him off here completely. But I didn't make my case any better. And that was a really hard lesson to learn, because in my head, I'm doing, I only want to check you love me. I just need love. That's all I'm asking for. It doesn't come across like that. It's actually manipulation.
So interesting.
Big lesson.
Because I can't even imagine you like that, because you are direct and you do say what you mean now. But it's like you say, it's something you've learned, something you've had to learn.
But I've been with my upgrade husband for, 18 years now?
Yes.
So...
Yes, a long time. So it's working.
I hope so.
Yeah.
So what we're going to go on to now is the importance of being self-aware. And after we've thought about these lessons that we've learned, we're going to go back over to Bianca Chappell, who talks about something else called our secret single behaviour.
Everybody has their SSB. Everyone. Sometimes we don't even take account of that's what we like to do. But you have it. So find out what that is and just do it. I adore just switching off and watching trash TV. I love to cook. Nobody's in the kitchen. That's my time. That's my SSB. That is one of my secret single behaviours. If I was on my own and nobody was watching, I didn't have a care in the world, what would I do to make me happy? It would be to watch trash TV or to cook.
So, secret single behaviours. I think they're so naughty. I love them. What do you do?
In terms of...
Just, you know, when you're on your
When I'm on my own and I can just do whatever I like.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'll watch TV, like my guilty pleasure TV.
Yeah.
What else? Sit in my pyjamas and, you know, just eat crisps or something that I wouldn't normally do.
Yeah.
All sort of comfort things, I guess.
Yes. It's I did one recently. I really wanted a cake.
Oh, yeah.
So I went out and I bought one and I ate the whole cake. It was it was a Victoria sponge. Now, admittedly, I ate it over 2 days, but I didn't tell my husband I bought a cake. I wanted it.
Well, yeah, and why not? Why not?
And this is the thing. And I think if I hadn't had, because sometimes with secret single behaviours, if they're slightly guilty pleasures like eating or something, eating food that's not nutritious, and Jono, I know, will have something to say about that, but what we will tend to do is we'll go, oh, no, I shouldn't have the cake, I'll have the fruit. But I know my body. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have the fruit, then I'll have the packet of nuts, and then I'll have the other thing that's healthy, and then go get the cake anyway.
Have the cake anyway.
So I think sometimes indulging our secret single behaviours is actually a really positive thing.
Yeah, I mean, I love it when my husband has an evening meeting. It's brilliant. I've got the house for 2 hours.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, I do really like that. I'm not saying I want to, get rid of him, but that 2 hours is brilliant because I can just do what I want. Yeah.
Let's go into this is sort of a bit of a jump actually from the secret single behaviour to living with a partner. Do you ever get into these arguments that just get circular?
Yes.
They go on and on and on. Yeah. There's one technique that I want to give, which is really helpful. This one's a very short one. I've got a longer one for something else later, but this is a really short one, and it's called the stop technique, and it's just simply STOP. Other guests have talked about this before as well. It's from dialectic behaviour therapy, and what this is dialectic behaviour therapy was there for people who found it very difficult to emotionally regulate. And it's where people have very black and white thinking. If you don't love me, you must hate me, kind of thinking.
Right.
And so what these techniques are there to do is to help you regulate that.
Okay.
And in a relationship, if you resonate with this, I think Jude will resonate with this. Sometimes you can have arguments that are the same argument again and again and again. Or you might have a friend who you haven't managed to book out of your life yet, but they have the same conversation with you again and again and again, and it's the same problem. And you help them, and then they won't get help.
Yes.
Naming no names. No one in this team. Stop technique's really, really good.
Okay.
So when you find yourself getting into that routine, this is an unhealthy routine, and it's a routine you get into with somebody that you know quite well. Stop. That's the first S. Stop. Just actually stop. The T stands for take a step back. Now, this may be metaphorically or it might be physically. Okay. So in some cases, it might be, do you know what, I've got to stop here. I've got to go out for a walk and then I will be back and we'll discuss it in 10 minutes' time. It can be physical. But the real work is done on the O.
Right.
That's where you look at, what was I actually trying to achieve? The outcome. What was I trying to do?
Okay.
And often, when it gets to what was I trying to achieve, you can unpack all the white noise. Because what that white noise was probably, I want to win. I want to win. I want to beat you because I'm frustrated in having this argument. And that's not going to get you anywhere. Because that's why it's going to keep perpetuating. Because you might be becoming aggressive, they'll be defensive. You just end up in that cycle. So what are your outcomes? And then look at what your options are based on the outcome. And once you've recognised what it is you're trying to achieve, you can press play and proceed.
Oh, okay.
But it's about doing the work of stop, what are we actually trying to achieve here? And again, it's that moment to take the emotion out, which...
That's really interesting. So, yeah, they say, we were teachers, you know, base everything on the outcome. Until you know the outcome, you can't do the learning.
Yes.
And so actually, I suppose that fits in quite well with that.
Because when we add emotions into the mix, especially if we're talking about a friendship or a relationship, there's a lot of weight riding on that relationship and that argument even. It's so easy to get lost into kind of, I want to win, or I want you to lose, I need to be right. And that becomes really difficult. So again, these are some techniques that I've had to start to use as well 18 years ago to help me just to become a bit more balanced in my thinking. And the same thing, I can stop myself, when I'm having one of those protest behaviour thoughts, stop, take a step back. What am I actually trying to do here?
So that's quite interesting because you can use it if you're the person, so using the
in
friend.
The middle, yes.
Yeah, so if you've got a friend that keeps telling you the same things and you keep saying, okay, well then you need to change your job or whatever it might be. But you can also use it if you're that person.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, interesting.
So, just something else that we can think about and reflect on in terms of our own awareness.
Yeah.
We're going to head back over to Jono Poon, who is now going to talk to us about perfectionism, another problem some of us may have.
There is no such thing as perfection, only progress. And there's no winning or losing, only progression. You either live or you learn. And it's one of those that I struggled to recognize with as I got through my life, because I tried to be so perfect that I wanted to be so on point, and I struggled with that because I wanted a validation approval from my parents. And every time I seek to do something, it wasn't right, or I was told off that it was wrong. So everything that I've been trying to do in my life is trying to reach for approval and validation from others. And I really struggled with that because everything I start, I wouldn't really finish because I would try to make it too perfect and it would never get put out into the world. So what I've learnt over the years with speaking up about my challenges in life, but also my mental health challenges with others, is that I'm still a work in progress, and this is how it is. And it's okay to be like that because that's just a part of the life journey.
Thank you, Jono. Perfectionism is something that a lot of people struggle with.
Yes.
Do you? I don't, but I never have. I'm a bit slipshod, actually. I go down the other way. I'm afraid of doing things wrong, but that's not perfectionism. I'm afraid of getting in trouble.
Okay.
Which is not perfectionism.
Right. So you're afraid of getting things wrong because you don't want to be told off
Yes.
about it. Whereas,
Perfectionism needs to be.
I don't like things that if I haven't done them exactly right. So that's two different sides of the same coin, isn't it, really?
Yes.
How interesting.
But perfectionism is, again, something that I get asked about a lot because, and then people go, it's because I'm a perfectionist. Okay, but let's look at the big picture here. So perfectionism, and a lot of people will say, or how do I stop being perfectionist? And if you ask them to be more aware of the impact of that behaviour, suddenly you can actually help them move towards excellence rather than perfection. So let's look at perfectionism. When something is perfect for you, actually, is anything ever perfect that you've done? Can you say that was perfect?
What I do perfectly,
yeah,
and I will say this, and it's always, is when I do writing. So it's perfectly spelt, grammatically.
Yeah.
And if I produce something that wasn't like that, I would be mortified. So if I produce something that had a spelling mistake, I'm just talking about me. Someone else can write something and it has mistakes
you won't
in it.
judge
I don't
them,
judge them. No,
yeah.
This is just me. So I do things that are perfect, but in that respect. But no, otherwise nothing can be really.
But if we look at that, just what you would call perfect, would that necessarily be perfect to somebody else?
Well,
it would be correct.
It would be correct, but whether they would look at it the same way I do and think, oh wow, this is brilliantly written, it's really grammatically correct, they wouldn't even care.
They might not.
No.
So again, this perfection is subjective.
Yeah.
But what is objective is something that I think you can perhaps flip onto, which might just make things a little bit more relaxed for you, and that's excellence. Because when you talk about perfectionism, what can happen is you're asked to write something, and because you want it to be absolutely perfect, you will work and work and work at it, and you won't produce it to that deadline. That's not perfect at all then.
No,
the
that's
work
true.
may be,
Yeah.
but the overall situation will be far less than perfect.
Yeah, and that's funny you say that, because that used to happen in doing my degree. Yeah.
And I'm actually talking about students that I used to teach.
Yeah,
Exactly that. They'd be like, I'm a perfectionist. Yes, but you've now missed the deadline.
Yes,
We
or
can't
you have to
submit it.
stay up all night to hit the deadline, and then the computer fails, and
Yeah.
then you miss the deadline, and then you're in a state.
Yes.
So yeah, that's not perfect. You're right.
So if we
How
take it
interesting.
into its context,
Yeah.
excellence is the overall picture. Excellence is producing it on time. Producing it ideally with few grammatical errors.
Yeah.
Producing it in good faith that you lived up to your word that you said you would do. It's those sorts of things. And that overall excellence, I think, is judged more objectively, positively, than the subjective perfection, which not everyone's going to see.
No, that is really interesting.
So I just thought it was a really interesting point that Jono made, just that, perfection is subjective, but because it's something that I get asked a lot in coaching.
That is so interesting. Yeah, it sort of puts, in my head now, I'm thinking, right, there's a spotlight on the perfect bit of work, but there's a much bigger view of as you described it,
Of the whole thing,
which should be excellent, if not perfect.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, we are, I don't know who we're going on to. So, I shall just do a little, cut that bit. Now I want to talk about, as we're coming to the end of the show, and it's been really nice to reflect on some of the things our guests have said, is self-care in general. And we have certain things that we do for our self-care, or try and do. What is your go-to, even if it's not a routine? What is your go-to self-care thing?
Going for a walk with my dog in some sort of nature.
I go for walks as well.
Yes.
I would love my self-care thing to be a massage or a spa day. But A, I can't afford it. B, I haven't got the time to book it in. C, it's just, I have to drive to it and sort it out. Never going to happen.
No, there's a lot that goes into that.
And
you can't just walk out the front door and...
This is the biggest problem with self-care. A lot of us have very lofty ideas of what it is.
Okay.
And so I'm going to break it down very, very briefly into, and I know I've done this one before, but we need a reminder, 6 different categories.
Right.
Spiritual. That's getting back in touch with nature, getting back in touch with ourselves, getting back in touch with our religion as well sometimes. Because spiritual burnout is a thing. It's when people get so disheartened by their religious beliefs that they just kind of go, I don't, and if I don't have my faith, what have I got? So it may be reconnecting, and it might be going to a different church or a different synagogue or a different place of worship.
Oh, wow.
But spiritual is just getting back in touch with ourselves and nature. Physical, that's more active. That's going out for a run or going to a dance class or going, even sex with consent. It's got to be safe, Now, these are the ones we don't talk about quite as much. I is intellectual, which is what you do, you read. If you do your Netflix binges, that kind of thing. If you're learning something, that's great. But one of the most important things about intellectual is if you teach, if you are a coach, if you're a mentor, go and do the thing that you teach. Do the thing you love.
Yeah, that's really important.
Because otherwise, all you do is you worry about running the session. So, for example, at my burlesque class, I've got 2 girls who teach laughter yoga. And they sometimes use some of the routines that we do and things, and that's absolutely lovely. They come to my class, and I have to worry about health and safety. I have to worry about the choreography. I have to worry about whether everyone's turning up. And they don't.
Yes.
It's an intellectual break for them. And that's really important.
Yeah.
Creative self-care. That's not just journaling or writing poetry. It can be doing something special with your hair. Okay. Doing something with a window box even, planting flowers that you really like. how you wear your clothes. Sometimes, and I have a lot of socks which have rude slogans on them. But you can't see them under my boots. So if I'm going into a meeting that I really don't want to go into, I will wear them.
The audience will view you differently from
absolutely,
now, right?
they're going to question now.
Yeah.
I have a client who has to wear that white topped up, but it's very much what I'm wearing right now. But what they do now is they invest in really bright, fun underwear. No one knows.
So they know that they're wearing that.
They are
no
still
one else
authentically
does.
them. Creative self-care is anything that allows you to express yourself.
Right.
Really important.
Yeah, really important.
Emotional. And this one's really hard because we think, oh yes, reach out. Not everyone is created equal. No. So don't reach out by shouting into the void of social media, because if you hate reading these, oh, you'll never guess what happened, ... If you hate it, don't do it. But people do it. And then it actually makes the people who are their friends feel like, oh, well, you don't want to talk to me, you'd rather talk to the world.
Yeah, that's very true.
You know, I remember a personal example whereby someone told me his father had passed away, and I was like, oh my gosh, you know, do you want me to come over? Do you want me to help? How can I do something? And the next thing I'd seen was he posted it on Twitter, and I was like, oh, well, clearly you want the likes, not company.
Oh my goodness.
So,
me.
you know, maybe he didn't mean that, and maybe it's what he needed, but maybe that's a protest behaviour.
Yeah,
no, I realise
it. I can see your point of view, though. You've offered it, and it's not been accepted.
The whole amount of actually emotional self-care, not just likes on Twitter.
Yes, yeah.
Which I think is more important. I think emotional connection is more important. And social, go and volunteer. And what we are going to do now is just head over to one interview that we had with Pritti Saggi talking about why volunteering for charities is so important.
Me, I'm going to say top tip is a lot of businesses now, rather than giving money to charity, some of them are giving volunteer hours. So you have an opportunity, if you're working for a business, are giving volunteer hours and days. Why don't you come and help a local charity? Yeah. Hands-on, go help a local one, small charity, and then see if you like anything there. You know, dabble a little bit. And because you'll be able to do something hands-on, you know, because you might just help for 1 day or 2 days. I think some are given a lot longer. So depending on how many days you've got, you'll get a little taste for it. And then you might be able to go, oh, do you know what, let me try something else there. Or I've built a connection there. But I think one of my top tips would really have to be that when you volunteer, you've got to work out yourself, what do you want to give? Yes, I know we've been taught in this world, as we live at the moment, here's your job description, this is what we're looking for, and you fit in. But actually, when you volunteer, you can't just fit in, because if it doesn't work for you, you're not going to do it. So rather than looking for just roles, why don't you be open and look at yourself and go, what do I want to give? How do I want to give back? And then when you go speak to a charity, say, look, this is what I can offer. This is what I really want to do and I feel passionate about. Because you've then got a why. And then that charity can find something for you. And like, you know, Jude very quite rightly said, which is be prepared to do anything. Because you might come in to do this one thing, but then something else happens here and we need all hands on deck. Or we need a bit of expertise or support here. It's like, can anybody help? And okay, it might be outside of your comfort zone, but imagine what you could learn.
Well, we've reached the end of another show. Lots of things to think about.
Loads and loads of things to think about. So interesting. I love these shows.
And I love revisiting what our guests have to say as well, because it reminds us, oh yeah, I need to do a bit more of that.
It does, yes.
What are you going to do differently this week as a result?
2 things. I'm going to put a bit more structure into my week. Well, actually, next week I'm on holiday, so no structure, hopefully.
No, you don't have to.
When I come back, a bit more structure. And also stop helping my husband in his job. He doesn't need the help. I mean, he says, you know, can you come and have a look at this? Yeah, he doesn't need it. He's perfectly capable. But I think part of me is like misses my job a little bit. So, but I'm going to cut that out. And so then I do have more time and then prioritise exactly how...
Fill it with the things
Yes, I'm going to make that chart at home. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
No, that's quite all right.
What are you going to
do
for yourself?
I think for me is to now try and build in every time I think about changing and improving, because it is things like, you know, I still want to get a bit fitter. I need to, you know, I want to do a bit more exercise, but rather than thinking of change, just I'm growing. I'm growing in that aspect.
Yeah, I love that.
And I think it's going to be easier for me to do because I can think I'm getting better, as opposed to everything I've done for the last 49 years is useless.
I'm going to change it all.
And now I have to change it all, which is quite harsh.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, thanks to Michael for sort of giving that mindset to us.
Exactly, and in fact, thanks to all of our guest experts and to Jude, and from us both, have a good night.